Mickey, through the first five practices, who's been impressing you the most out of the group? Whether it's running with ones or just who's been standing out the most?
Well, as a whole, the group's been pretty solid. You know, they've been pretty solid. But I think Omar's having a good camp right now. You know, I think he's really playing at a high level. You know, I'm happy where Trey's at. I'm happy where Oliver's at right now, and Marcus is really doing a really good job to say he's just gotten in here. And Isaiah, this is Isaiah's first live reps since about November when he was last at New Mexico State. So they all coming together. You know, Brody, they all coming together. But I talked to him today about just stacking days. You know, don't have a good day, then be satisfied and come back and play average. Keep stacking days, keep extending. That's what I've been talking to him about.
Have you noticed one or two guys who's building a rapport, whether it's Casey or Purdy, who's been building that receiver quarterback connection very well?
I think that's going to be up to the quarterback, you know, how they build, who they're going to build a rapport with. I'm going to get 6 ready to play. I'm going to get 6 ready to play. And when I get the 6 ready to play, you know, it'll be rhythm with the quarterback. Depends who's in there. It'll be rhythm with the quarterback. But I'm going to get 6 ready to play. And all that other stuff, they're going to have to deal with it.
Got such high praise in the spring. Where does he fit in that major? Is he a big spot in the 6?
No, Lante's play. He's playing pretty good. But they all know they're playing for roster spots. We got 16 in camp right now. I'm going to take the best 6. That's gonna get on the field. But Lante's having a really good camp also. I forgot to mention Lante. Well, they all have the opportunity because they all getting reps. It's on them. Like my thing with this group right now, they got to figure it out. I'm not going to figure it out for them. They're going to figure it out. They know what I expect. They know what Scott expects. They know what Whip expects. So they're going to figure it out because I think that's the problem these days, that we figure things out for these kids. They got to figure it out.
You mentioned Omar. You know, how much of his stride can be related to what he's done, and maybe does it play in to bring in on the receivers and kind of lights the fire in this competition?
Absolutely. Competition kind of straightens you up when you know the guy next to you that can play. When you know that you're the only one in the room, and we handicap and we got to play you on Saturday, they know the deal. They know right now that they got to work to get on the field, and it's got to be deserving to get on the field. If you don't deserve to be on the field, I'm not putting you out there, and they know that. So you're right. Competition helps a lot.
Mickey, back to the 6. When do you know, and what do you need to see as we move through camp to figure that out?
The ones that's going to be consistent, and also the ones that's going to have production and make plays. I mean, you could be consistent, but you're not making plays. I look at all of that. But I think going into the week of getting ready for Northwestern, I think you'll kind of figure out who's ready to go and who's not.
You kind of mentioned earlier, but who has been the most consistent so far?
Me. I've been the most consistent, not them. Because they're going to make mistakes. You know, they're going to make mistakes. Like I said, I asked them to stack days. We didn't stack a day today. We didn't stack a day today. We got our butts whooped today by the DBs, you know, and we can't have that. We got to stack days.
The new guys who come in, have they progressed the way you wanted? I mean, they know their stuff. Yeah, I know it's got to be a whirlwind for them trying to keep the playbook under wraps.
Well, you're dealing with this thing just like free agency. These new guys, these transfer portal kids, it's not their first rodeo. Only the lingo changes. You know, the route running and the concepts are the same. So they just had to learn the lingo. So they're doing a really good job of grasping what we need them to do in the scheme. So they're not behind. They're right there with it. Just like I said, just the lingo changes.
I mean, you said that you didn't stack a day. Is it the lack of urgency? Did these guys not value how many practices you get? What is it?
They just took it on the chin today. And that's what. Not an effort thing. They just took it on the chin. You know, when things are going, like I told you, when things are not going your way, now you got to settle yourself down and depend on your technique. But you still got to have that chip on your shoulder, like, hey, I'm going to get this thing done. You know.
What have you seen from Isaiah since he's returned? I know he missed the spring. Has he been able to make up some ground for the time that he missed?
Yes, he's been a lot better. He's getting better every day. Like, I got to be patient with Isaiah First of all, because he didn't go through spring, and the last time he really played football was November. November, December. He was at New Mexico State. So I got to be patient with him. But so far, he's been coming along, and he shows flashes. Now we just got to get him back in the routine, get him back playing football again.
Mickey, when those guys, like when you say your receivers got their butts whooped today, who's the guy most apt to step up in your room and say, okay, we got to reverse this? Who are the guys?
Me.
And then
Me. Because if they would have did it, I would have told you that they would have did that today. Nobody stepped up and said anything, and that's my problem. That's my problem, with them right now. Is that when things are going bad, somebody's got to call a group in and say, okay, hey, let's settle down and get it going. Because listen, I'm not going to be out there with them. I told them like this: if I got to lead the room, I'll lead the room. But I'd rather them do it, and they're going to learn. But they're going to learn. But they know what to expect. But they know one thing: I'm going to be hard on them. I'm not going to look away. I'm not going to look away and act like I don't see it.
What's the response been like in your representing that type of style?
They understand it. They understand what my thing is. I rule it with an iron fist, and they understand that, and I think they accept that. I'm never going to be soft on them. I'm never going to cater to them. I'm never going to tell them what they want to hear. I'm always going to tell them the truth, but I'm going to demand that they play with excellence. That's what they reach. They're trying to reach excellence, and that's how you win. That's how you win. That's winning football when you can stack days and put it together every day, because then Saturday becomes easy. But if you lose in practice and lose in practice and lose in practice, you're going to lose on Saturday. And I watch all of that. We watch all that. Scott, that's what we watch. We got to watch that.
So the way it sounds like, Nick, you're still looking for that alpha in the room as part of it. So many pieces that got kind of.
Yes, looking for that alpha. And somebody's going to show up. Somebody's going to show up. I'm sure after today they're going to go back and think about it, and they're going to come back this afternoon, for the walkthrough and be more focused. And then I think tomorrow they're going to come back and be ready to go. One thing about this group, once I challenge them, they always come back. They always come back. That's one thing I like about them. They don't just let me talk noise to them and not respond. When I come at them really hard, like I always do, they'll snap back. They'll snap back.
I know today didn't go how you wanted, but as an overview, did you like how the chemistry came about to this summer with the QBs or maybe the top QB and some of the receivers?
Yeah. That's going to be slow, because during the summer you had 6 quarterbacks throwing, you got 20 receivers going. So the chemistry is going to slowly come. It's going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming. And I think once you settle down on a quarterback and you settle down on the receivers, I think that's when the chemistry will happen, and that's when they'll start gelling more.
when you came over, you have deep history, obviously, in Louisiana with high school coaches, trainers, relationships. When you were hired here, how big of a conversation was that, or how big of a factor was that in Nebraska's decision to hire you? Your recruiting background, your history, and the state that they're really trying to expand their recruiting lines.
Well, yeah, everything in recruiting is about relationships, and I do have good relationships down south, especially in Louisiana. But I think that's a big part of it, because you always go back to what Kirby said. Kirby Smart said, coaching can't overcome recruiting. Coaching can't. You can't win with bad players. You can't win with bad players. You got to have good players to win. And I tell them like this. I always joke with them and say, I'm not that good of a coach. I need talent. I need you to be a talented kid, because at the end of the day, you're playing Power 5 football. It's not like the kids who give the most effort and the least talented kids gonna win. Most time, who wins on Saturday, who has the most men, but also who has the most talent. And you need talent to win. And that's why I'm down in Louisiana.
Did Scott mention that Louisiana background when hired you? This is it?
No, I mean, he didn't have to mention it. He knew where I was coming from, and he knew my history from down there. We were recruiting. I mean, at the other place I was at, we didn't have to leave the state. Everything was right there in your backyard. Here we have to leave the state, and we got to venture out. We got to go all over. But yeah, Louisiana's a really good place where they play really good high school football.
Do you like how it's been going recruiting in general? And
Yeah. It's different. It's different. It's different because you have to venture out. You got to get out of the state. So it's different. But I think that I like the way we're going. I like our plan. I like our plan. Now I understand what's going on and how we do things. I understand it. So now it's time to just push on and keep trying to bring this talent in.
How much does it help when you get a couple Louisiana guys or like a Trey Palmer and you can get other guys around you
Yes, they do. And Trey and they do a really good job. They do Dakotas. They do a really good job, and Singleton, all the kids from down there, they do a really good job with the kids from Louisiana. Once they get up here, making them comfortable. But when they come up here, they can see this place sells itself. You know, this place sells itself. Look around. We got all the resources in the world. You know, you got a great city of Lincoln, a great state of Nebraska, great people, great fans. You got great coaches, great administration. Everything's good around here. We just got to put this thing together and win.
When you say your plan, what are some you like your guys' recruiting plan? What are a couple examples of that plan?
Find the best players in the country and get them here to come to Nebraska. That's got to be your plan, and I think that's everybody's plan. Just find the best players that fit our scheme, but they're gonna be out throughout the whole United States, you know, and we got to go find them.
8 months into this thing with a lot of new coaches, what's that been like? Kind of coming together, getting to know everybody, kind of building that camaraderie.
Well, I think we gelled right away, you know, with Whip being the boss, you know, on offense, and I think, you know, Donnie does a really good job with the O-line. Beck's been here. Beck's a veteran, so he's kind of helped us fill in, you know, because he's been here. You know, Applewhite's here. He's doing a really good job. But I think that we, as an offensive staff, we really gel. You know what I mean? And I think we're on the same page when it comes down to what we need to do on offense.
What's the key to that? I mean, I imagine you want to set aside some egos, collaborate a little bit. How do you make that?
I think when you have a coordinator like Whip, who's been in the game a long time, the respect factor is already there, because you know when you challenge him on something, you better make sure that you have your ducks in a row, that you know what you're talking about, because he's seen everything. But I think everybody in that room respects Whip's resume because he's been there. But everybody in that room, they're professional, and we're here to work. We're here to work together. We know working together is going to help us. They can't see us divided. We won't be divided. That we work together.
Anything else for Coach?
Appreciate it. I didn't mean to be hard on him, just like it's me, because they just not.
They're not used to covering you, man.